All right, welcome to the council meeting. Pastor Reapy is not here, so there will not be panic in this house. If you will stand, please, and I will do our prayer and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight. Help us make the right decision for the good of this wonderful community. Thank you for the people that have come to see Guthrie City Council at work, and we pray that we do all the things that glorify you and raise up this community. In your precious name we ask these things. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you. Okay, we are going to call to order the Guthrie Public Works. Any community announcement? I'd like to thank Furrow's Flowers and Gifts for the wonderful poinsettias, man. That makes me want to go buy you a Christmas gift or something.
At the Pollard Theater.
At the Pollard?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thanks for the leadership there.
You're welcome.
They donated 2 poinsettias, and they are really nice. And don't look for those next week. I'll be taking them home to my wife and try and get some points. No, they're here till they no longer look good. Thank you. Okay. We'd like to thank Interbank, located at 224 East Oklahoma Avenue, for the donation of the poinsettia plant in the middle.
That's a good one.
Hey, could you get a picture of that for me for later? Okay, thank you. Well, we got Christmassy, didn't we? Quick. Super deal. Consent agenda on Guthrie Public Works. We have A, B, C, D, and E. And I would entertain a motion.
CVB, she was going to give a monthly report.
No. Taking the pressure off of it.
Community announcements.
CVB was going to give a monthly report.
During community announcement.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's number 2.
Do we have any community
Right
announcements?
now? Wonderful. Yes, we do. The
Okay.
CBB would like to give their
That's number
report.
Well, where's she at? Oh,
I apologize.
I haven't seen you since you sang that beautiful song at the opening night. And I will tell you, you did an incredible job. It's good when Reverend Hammonds is there to kind of be your straight man. You did very good. Lucy, could you come and give us our quarterly report?
I missed it, or I would have mentioned it.
As per the contract agreement between the Guthrie Chamber of Commerce and the City of Guthrie, I'm enclosing financial records and a summary for the third quarter of 2012. The Guthrie CVB has been very busy looking for new avenues to exploit in our quest to share the good news about Guthrie and all of her treasures. We received a tremendous amount of media attention during the summer and early fall. The History Channel was here filming their Okie Noodling series. KSBI-TV and KOCO-TV spent an extended amount of time here doing filming, holding town hall meetings, shooting live segments, and learning how truly unique Guthrie is. In July, we, as the Chamber of Commerce, hosted our first Capital Triathlon. The CVB promoted this event throughout Oklahoma and into Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas. There were entrants from all over who came to enjoy this wonderful event. It was unanimously said to be one of the best of its size in Oklahoma. Guthrie seems to be becoming known for having a healthy and active populace, thanks to Courtney, and for having unique venues to participate in. We have added the triathlon to our CVB rack cards and our calendar as one of our regular events. We anticipate even better crowds next year. Our information was sent to 40 states and Puerto Rico by the OTRD and TravelOK.com. In August and September, we were busy working with our partners in Frontier Country, TravelOK.com, Oklahoma Magazine, and others, firming up advertising spots for our upcoming fall and winter festivals with various media outlets. The advertising that we were able to secure for the fourth quarter events for this year will ensure that we will be seen by a plethora of folks, both in Oklahoma and the rest of the country. We co-opted with several businesses in town so that they and Guthrie could be highlighted in a book by Jennifer Ramsey. The book will be one in a series of travel books by the author and her mother, written specifically for women travelers. We secured prominent placement in several publications. Radio spots were also recorded. Oklahoma Travel and Recreation Department request fulfillments for August were super. They sent DGs to 42 states, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico. In September, they sent information to 33 states. Overall, we seem to be getting the most requests from Texas and California, followed closely by Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, Florida, Ohio, and Illinois also frequently ask for information. Guthrie CVB is doing its best to showcase Guthrie for the rest of the country and the world. We believe we are doing the best we can with the tools we have to work with. We appreciate your continued support and faith in us. Sincerely, Mary Coffin.
Who? Oh,
That one.
thank you, Lucy. Great job.
Thank you.
You read impeccably. It was like a plethora of words that
Well,
you.
and there, it does come with a concordance, so maybe you can look up the vocabulary.
Wanda, what'd she say? All right. All right. I kind of threw us off because but we're going to wait till item 6 and talk about that. I threw us off because I usually say, Vice Mayor, the consent agenda, and he bulls right up and does it. So let's go back there.
Okay. At this time, Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve items A, B, C, D, and E, and make special note, if you looked in the packet, that it only took me 1 minute to get things approved last week. Let's see how well you did.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions?
You're taking your time today.
Hearing none, cast your vote. I'm trying to beat a 4-minute thing.
Chairman, all the votes are in.
Show us how we felt. Motion passes unanimously. We have a sick child for Sherry Mueller, and we need to take care of family first. So get after it, Sherry. She's probably watching right now. So, all right. I'm going to adjourn this. No. Yeah, I am. I'm adjourning the Guthrie Public Works, and let's move on to the Guthrie City Council. We have items, and so, Vice Mayor, I'm going to turn it back to you, please, sir.
Again, at this time, I'd make a motion to accept items on the consent agenda A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I at this time.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Cast your votes, please.
Mayor, all the votes are in.
This man shows how we felt. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, council. Item 3, city manager.
This is to consider the approval of resolution number 2012-17, providing for the 2013 primary and general elections of the city of Guthrie for the offices of mayor and council members, and naming the voting precincts. I would like Wanda Calvert to provide us information about resolution 2012-17.
Thank you, City Manager. All right, this resolution is getting us in compliance with our city charter and the Oklahoma state statutes. The mayor, through the resolution, has to set forth when the filing period is for the candidates, which is going to be February 4th, 5th, and 6th of 2013. You do it at the election board from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. There is a $25 fee that has to be either a bank cashier check or bank money order, or you can get 25 signatures of registered voters that is eligible to vote for you in that election. So people within your ward or the mayor's, which is at large. It also calls for the primary if one is needed for March 5th, 2013. And it calls for the general election for April 2nd, 2013. The voting precincts will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the election dates. We do have money budgeted for this election in the amount of $7,513. And is there any questions?
Staff recommends the approval of resolution 2012-17.
Second.
Make the motion.
Make a motion. I
Have
second.
a motion and a second. Cast your vote, please.
Just do it.
Mayor, all the votes are in.
Yes, ma'am. Show us how we feel. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, council. Item 4, city manager, please.
Consider approval for Resolution 2012-18, supporting the development of Silent Harvest Homes Phase 2, including fee waivers of building permits or other city-provided services in the amount of $14,001. Renee.
Thank you very much. You may remember back in, let's see, what have I got on my notes? December of 2010, Silent Harvest came before you requesting fee waivers for Phase 1. Silent Harvest is a subdivision of 40 units. They actually built 41, which is their sales location. They get their funding through the Oklahoma Housing Finance Authority. And as part of that program, OFA looks for support to Silent Harvest from the city. And what they're asking for, OFA is through Silent Harvest, is a waiver of projected revenue of $14,001 through building permits or other kinds of city services that we may incur. Back in December of 2010, we approved issuing that fee waiver of $14,000 for Phase 1. Phase 1 is wrapping up this month with the completion of those homes. As of today, I believe they already have 10 people who have moved into this affordable housing subdivision, and they're looking now to begin Phase 2 once they get approval again through OFA. So tonight, we're looking to get that approval from City Council so that they can go ahead and commence Phase 2, which will be, again, another 40 units housing complex. In total, this entire project of Phase 1 and Phase 2 represents little over $7 million worth of building and development to the community that increases our base of housing. With that, just to let you know, in this last round, let me back up. In Phase 1, the $14,000 is a considerable amount of money. With that waiver, though, the city still realized an income component to that of over $68,000. So we did receive that after even considering the waiver in that amount.
After the fact.
Yes, yeah. Otherwise, it would have been $80-some thousand worth. So Bryce Barfield from the developer's office is here. Should you have any further questions?
What I'm seeing out there is they're doing a great job, and
It really is.
positive growth in this community, especially on the west side of town, has been incredible.
Our recommendation is to approve Resolution 2012-18.
Yes.
I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion, second. Cast your votes, please.
Mayor, all the votes are in.
Yes, ma'am. Show us how we feel. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much, council. Item 5.
This is to consider approval for ordinance number 3243, creating Chapter 2, Article 2, Section 2-49, a social host ordinance restricting the service of alcohol to minors in a social setting. I'll have Renee come back up and explain that one.
Amazing. Here we go.
I didn't know you were here, Renee.
Well, that was my better twin. How shall I say?
Well,
Okay.
welcome.
We come before you this evening basically as a partnership, not only the planning department, but the police department and the Logan County Health Department. In May of 2010, the city of Guthrie was one of 14 cities that received a designation for healthy communities. As a result of that, we were able to get an award through a grant of $5,000, which helped, excuse me, which helped with the funding of the community garden. What we're applying for now is a social host ordinance that would help us with the next round of grant applications. Okay. There already is this type of program that's available through the state. And Damon, if you could speak to some of those items in relation to what the state does require for social host. This particular item, as per the grant, requires the city to also have the component.
Damon, how you enjoy being thrown under the bus?
Yeah, it goes with the rest of the tire treads that are on me. I'm not really sure where she was at. I was operating the camera. But basically, the social host, it gives us the opportunity to cite individuals that are providing alcoholic beverages to minors. And they consider a minor in this to be anyone under the age of 21. We have laws on the books that deal with a lot of this in a roundabout area, but it doesn't specifically state social host. And so that's kind of the deal. We've talked about doing this in the past. The last manager said we've got laws that basically deal with this now, didn't see the need for it. But to help the community and the partnership out, we're willing to get this ordinance. And I can tell you, I was just visiting with one of my officers, and they're thrilled to have this ordinance available to them. So does that help? Did I cover everything?
Well,
Yes.
if it was okay to start with, why do we need more? Yes, I'd love it.
Sorry. Last year, the state's, Oklahoma State as a whole passed the Cody's Law, which is a social host as a state. What this grant is asking, that we have it in our books, that the city enforces it. We don't have the verbiage in there that says we enforce it. We have that we mimic state law, which is awesome, but we just need that we enforce it, plain and simple.
Well, aren't we enforcing it now?
Totally, we just don't have it in the books to showcase to the people that we are writing the grant to that we actually do it.
I think we're putting more government on us on top of government. If we have something already stated and it works,
No.
leave it alone.
I understand that, but in order for the city to receive an extra $8,000 to help us be a healthier community, it just has to be in there.
So it just goes down to money.
Yes.
We're bouncing back and forth. To answer your question on that, yes, Damon enforces that law, absolutely. But the grant program that comes with the Get Fit Guthrie, the Healthy Communities, they have certain thresholds that they're looking for from the communities that say that the city is really behind the Get Fit program. And within
But if we're enforcing the law, we are doing the program.
it's when you apply for grants, it comes down to extreme specifics. Sometimes in some grants, it's as minute as the margin has to be this size. In this particular program, they require that the city have an ordinance that says the city has an ordinance that they enforce that is the city's ordinance, not just the state's. It's an administrative issue. It is minutia, but
It is. It absolutely is. And I think people are fed up with it.
yeah. Well, the beauty of this is that it will give us $8,000 if we get approved.
It all comes back to money.
Staff recommends the consideration and approval of ordinance 3243 in an effort to receive funding in the amount of $3,000 for a social host ordinance enforcing current law.
Okay, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you, staff. I have a motion and a second. Let's cast our votes and find out how we felt.
Mayor, all the votes are in.
Yes, ma'am, show us how we felt. Motion passes 5-1. So let it be said, let it be done. All right. Paul, if you will start up here, I'm going to have city manager, she will read this and then give you time.
I'll read it slow.
Yeah. No running, Paul.
No running.
No running in the pool.
Safety first, City Council. Consider approval of ordinance 3244, creating Chapter 15, Article 2, Section 15-18, Rules and Regulations for Waterfowl Hunting at Liberty Lake and declaring an emergency. Paul, we'd love to hear your comments.
Well, if the article that they wrote in the paper is true, it's great. I hope that the Parks Board approves it. The only thing that I would request is the to have access to one of the roads on one side of it that we need it. The other side, they can already drive up to them. But an old man like me that had a knee surgery and his shoulder operated on, to walk a mile and carry about 50 pounds worth of equipment in there. It's not too cool. And the other only access is to boat across there to it. So I would like to see you let us have access to that 3 blinds on the one side, or is there 4? 2 that are sold. Yeah, two that are sold. And in the newspaper, the Guthrie newspaper, that article was in there on the Parks Board. Did a good job. Need to thank the Parks Board if it all passes.
Well, I think you helped on that, didn't you? Paul said
Yeah.
as an advisor on that.
I'd love to be on next year when we help modify the rules a little bit more, if you let us, and I appreciate you all.
And I believe that will probably happen, but we appreciate you doing that. It's gone for long. Nobody knows it better than you.
Right.
We're trying to bring it back, trying to fix some things, and
The young kids here in this town, they need a place to go. And that was my main drive here, to let them be able to do that, especially with the camaraderie with their grandfather and uncles and all that. So, thank you very much.
Paul, thank you. And I agree with you 100%. It's a rite of passage. And that's one of the reasons that I was interested in it, that we get that back. And I'm proud of the job you guys do. Gun safety and the whole deal is paramount. All right.
Our subject matter expert on the topic is Officer Gibbs. Officer Gibbs would like to go through the rules and regulation proposal with us tonight.
All right, good evening, council. Try to be short. I want to start with just a very quick explanation of how we got here. Let's see, about 4 years ago, the council had voted to stop duck hunting at Liberty Lake. The issues ranged at that time from trash being left at the lake all the way through hunters shooting at each other. There was quite a bit of pandemonium going on out there, so we wisely put a stop to that. Understandably, when we took a look at this again, the city wanted to closely control by revamping the rules that were occurring around this duck hunting. There were several meetings that were held, and Parks Board did an excellent job of putting those things together to be able to have a package ready to go in a very short amount of time for everything that was done. However, on the night that the drawing was held, only 6 of the 13 blinds, which let me just state, there used to be 20 blinds, but due to safety, we went ahead and spaced those out according to really what the recommendation was from the state as far as the distances between blinds, so on and so forth, and taking into consideration the Oakwood edition. There were several residents down there that said, please let us have some more distance. We were able to actually find a real pretty happy medium between all of those competing interests. After that was done, again, the drawing was held. Only 6 of the 13 blinds were purchased. There was some significant disagreement with some of those specific rules. So the city went ahead the Parks Board went ahead and held a meeting to address those particular concerns, which mainly were being able to have guests out in the blinds, and that was one. Let's see here. Another one was they wanted to have a drawing to sell the rest of the blinds, the other 7, and to allow motor vehicles in the trail areas. Those were the 3 major concerns. Off of that, we went ahead and were able to come up with the rules that you have now that you're looking at there. Significant changes were, again, as far as the guests were concerned, the city wanted to make sure that we know who's out there, and because of liability, that those guests are also aware of the rules and that they're aware that they're out there at their own risk, so to say. So verbiage had to be placed in there according to cover those particular liability issues. What we decided to do was to make sure that one of the permit holder, and when I say permit holder, I'm referring to one of the 4 people whose names are listed on that particular blind. That would be our permit holder. They're also referred to interchangeably as the hunter. But that permit holder had to be at least 18 years of age, ensuring that there'll be an adult there present at any point in time that a guest is there present. So it could be feasible that you have an 18-year-old there with a younger child, but at least that person is an adult. The hunter again, the hunter wasn't allowed, once you had one particular blind, you weren't allowed to go and hunt in another blind, so there was some verbiage change for that, so I could go and hunt in another blind as a guest. And also, again, just for the liability, as far as the, guest's entry into the park area constituting knowledge and agreement of the particular rules. And it's incumbent upon the permit holder to make sure that the guest knows the rules. Let's see here. So that covered most of the issues about the guests, and I think everybody was pretty happy. As far as the drawing, however, once it came down to the time for the Parks Board to consider this as a vote, it was recommended that this be sent to the council because of the sweeping changes. So the issue with the drawing is that I'm not sure that it's going to be feasible or even time, there's even time to put that in for the last half of the season. That season starts, the next duck hunting season starts December the 8th and goes through January the 20th. We have an extension for different types of geese that go to February the 10th. There would need to be approximately a 2-week lead time where we would need to advertise that the drawing will be held for the last 7 blinds. Then on top of that, we would have to consider whether or not you're going to charge the full price of $400 or discount it in some way. There would be several things. So it's the recommendation, I believe, of the Finance Department that that particular drawing not be held this year, that we revamp it again for next year. The last thing, again, was motor vehicles, and you heard Mr. Fincher had touched on that. This was probably the most, of everything, was the most controversial. The reason being, when I met with every one of the department heads, it was unanimous that they maintain that the motor vehicles be closed, or I'm sorry, that the trail areas be closed to motor vehicles, any type of motor vehicles, from 4-wheelers all the way up to vehicles. The reason why was mainly a liability issue. The trail areas are not maintained in any way, shape, or form. For the Parks Board, I was able to have a video that showed exactly what the trail area is like at this point in time. Erosion is set in on the roadways, causing there to be, you'll be going along, and then all of a sudden there's a 6 to 10 foot literal drop right in front of you, and unfortunately I can't do it justice without a photo, and I wasn't able to get that in here tonight. There are also just areas where the trails are hidden. There's growth that's about 6 feet tall directly across as far as grass, and literally you drive into a mud bog just right there. So some of the issues that stem off of that are, one, a safety issue, because response time for medical is severely limited. And 2 is our ability to be able to enforce any of the rules that we set in the trail areas. So we have to get cars down there. And although we do have one vehicle that has no trouble getting down and maneuvering that areas, that's only one person. And that they can't be there the entire time. We have vehicle extraction concerns, meaning that no wrecker can actually get their wrecker down there. The closest that we have is a wrecker has a 4-wheel drive Jeep that they're willing to go down there and pull somebody out if they get stuck. However, if there's significant mechanical breakdown, there's no way to get that out without some type of heavy equipment, which would be a backhoe or something of the like, a tractor literally dragging it out. And so that again exposes us to some financial liability, not just safety concerns. And then the last being a precedent, this was one of the major ones, is that if we open up the trail areas, when we've worked so diligently to close them and to let people know, we're going to set a precedent if we allow people to go back in there with motor vehicles. The contingency, or I'm sorry, the contingency that was made was on the night of the drawing, because this came up, was to allow hunters to boat into their blinds, because the blinds are at the water's edge. Be easily just to take anything that you need, any amount of gear, as long as the boat won't get swamped, and take it directly over to your blinds, set it up well in advance. In fact, our times are well in advance of when the actual law states that you can actually shoot. So they can get set up well before the ducks arrive, essentially. That's what I was trying to say. So with all of that, that is the rundown of all of the rules changes and the staff's position on that. Is there any questions that you guys have for me on how we came up with those particular changes?
I think you did a great job.
Can we speak about or can I, about the vehicle?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Are you through, officer?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
any other questions you have, I can come up if you like.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
It's your call. State your name for us whenever you get to the podium. In the meantime, we'll sing.
My name is Matt Backus. I'm a permit holder out at the lake. Not a very lucky one because the first 4 or 5, how many sold? 6? The first 4 are on the side where they can drive directly up to their blind. We have left we probably have several $100s worth of stuff out in the water, decoys, so that we don't have to pack them in. We have to walk approximately half a mile down the water's edge. We have driven in there. They let us drive in to set up our blind. Officer Gibbs opened the gate several times for us. I drove in. I drive a large truck that can get in and out of there with no problem. Down the road, what we would like is, this only affects 2 blinds. If we're not opening it back up for the others are all on the same side as us. So what we would like is possibly a combination lock or something. We were told that $400 a blind is probably the most expensive blind in the state. Oklahoma City, you pay $20 for a city permit, hunting permit, and your drawing and blind is free. So we're paying $400. You missed $2,800 for these rules. People got up and left the drawing because they wanted to take their kids, they wanted to drive in, they wanted different things, and there was no flexibility the night of the drawing. So there's $2,800 that were here for the drawing that got up and walked out. And I know $2,800, but to a city or a parks department or something, that's still money. What we would like is, we are taking it on our own liability to go in there with a gun and hunt. We're going in there walking with several pounds of gear, taking older people. Sorry,
Boy, you got all around that, didn't you, Paul?
Grandpas, kids, everybody would like to take their kid. If their kid's not old enough to hunt, still the experience of being there to sit there. If our vehicle's behind us, we can stay in the trees, fit 20 yards back from our blind, and we're totally hidden. We can stay back farther than that. If a kid gets cold, can go sit in the truck. If there's something like him, the officer talking about something happening to get in there, we have a vehicle to get somebody out, or in case of an emergency for somebody else, we can assist also. And plus the boating, if you're 20 degrees out there in a frozen lake or something like that, nobody's going to want to get in a boat to get over there. And so that's kind of our concerns, is we already have we've put down for the permit. It's our responsibility, it's our liability, everything, to be out there in 20-degree weather, snow, well, we don't have rain or snow, but in the cold, that we would like to be able to drive our own vehicles down there. And if you can't, I mean, we're not going to tear our own vehicles up to get down. If we could get as close as we could or get anywhere. And to my blind, I've driven the whole way with no problems. I mean, it is rough. I wouldn't take a car, but with a truck, there's no problem. And
Can they not give you a release of liability? Have the 2 blind holders on that side give the release of liability?
we're talking, it's affecting 8 people if that cannot drive down to theirs because we were unlucky enough to get drawn last, and that was the blinds that were left.
Well, can I throw something in this? Wasn't there an understanding, or was there some verbiage about that you guys would bring, if we get this started again down the road, we could get some equipment in there and make those roads?
That was my understanding, yes.
The offer still stands.
I understand where Officer Gibbs is coming from. For years, you guys know very well, they made a nightmare out of there by tearing up our property. And before Officer Gibbs, the lake ranger out there, he caught, it was Arcadia, Edmond boys coming up here and tearing up what basically belongs to us.
Sure, and I think the group that is out there right now, we've pretty much all met at these meetings and kind of know each other, and
Right.
there's no 18-year-olds, it's all very responsible people that are wanting to take their kids, or that aren't even shooting age, but would like to get them interested in it, to where, I have nieces that are 10 and 8. They can sit out there, they can hunt, or not hunt with a gun, but we'd love to get them excited into it, to where if they got cold, they could go up and sit in the truck, or they wouldn't have to walk that far. To where we could take the responsibility of, I mean, we're out there with guns, we're hunting, stuff like, I mean, that's a pretty big responsibility.
Sure.
So that's kind of what we're asking, is even a combination, but to not tie up the city's resource of an officer out there to unlock the gate every morning, lock it back. We can unlock it when we go in, lock it when we pull off so that it stays locked, and put a combination lock that 8 people know the combination to, or a key and issue 8 keys or something like that, to where we've paid $400 to be out there.
Matt, you
and
got 1 minute left.
Okay, to tie up the resource of an officer that could be off doing something else. So that's kind of our,
City Manager, what's your,
We did take this through the public input process with the Parks Advisory Board appointed by the council. It is staff recommendation to not allow ATV vehicles at this time, for the reasons the Officer Gibbs stated. If council wishes to allow that, we could entertain the ideas of waivers, et cetera, but it is still staff's recommendation to not allow vehicles in that area this year.
Yeah, I want to be clear that everybody understands that if we don't pass this ordinance tonight, then the rule or the changes that are here won't go into effect. So we would need to approve tonight's ordinance as it stands and have to come back and rework towards another solution for the future. Just want to make sure you guys understand that, because if we don't pass this tonight, then it'll be just as is today without those changes. So this is not an attempt to squelch hearing what you're saying and make a future change. It's just the ability to, in order to get what we need to get done tonight, we need to move forward on what we have.
So is the whole thing clumped into one? If the vehicles are out, is everything out?
No. We would continue forward. The point is that the discussion for vehicles will need to revigorate, go ahead and enact the changes tonight, which is what was agreed upon, and then to start the future dialogue about the vehicles.
and I don't know if it's more dangerous to be driving an ATV in there than it is to have Paul Finchner walking down there with a gun. So but we're trying to get it started again, guys. We're trying to make so next year we rent all of them, and I think we all understand and feel what you guys are saying. But I just thought it was important that we get it back, and then we can try and grow from it out of that, so.
Staff recommends the approval.
And with that being said, I'd make a motion at this time to approve ordinance 3244, creating Chapter 15, Article 2, Section 15 through 18 rules and regs for waterfowl hunting at Liberty Lake, and at this time declaring it an emergency.
Second.
Have a motion and a second?
What was the emergency? Is a second vote, I'm sorry.
Emergency clause. takes a
Emergency
separate
clause
vote.
would be a second vote, so.
Second.
Cast your votes, please. This is for the ordinance, and then we'll do a second vote for emergency clause.
Mayor, all the votes are in.
Should show us how we felt. Passes unanimously, thank you. And now for an emergency clause.
Now, at this time, I'd make that motion for the emergency clause regarding ordinance 3244.
Second.
Oh, how about me?
Yeah, Mayor,
How
all the
about me not doing it?
Mayor, all the votes are in.
Show us how we felt. Motion passes unanimously. All right. 7.
Number 7 is to consider approval for ordinance 3245, creating Chapter 11, Article 6, Section 11-102 of the Guthrie Code of Ordinances by prohibiting tobacco advertisement at city-sponsored events. Ms. Renee,
Serena, could I say something real quick?
you may.
When I read this, I was at the doctor's office with a needle stuck in me, and I didn't feel real hot. And I glanced at the darn thing, and it said tobacco regulations. Glanced down at $500 fine. I thought, oh, my God. And then I laid it back down, and that's where I left it. So I thought it meant that if you smoked a cigarette at a sporting event, you'd be fined $500.
We accept your apology.
After I did it down the road, when I was saying again, I realized that it was an advertisement. So that was my fault. I graciously apologize to all of you that read that or heard me. Thank you.
We did hear that, and we thank you. Thank you. though. Thank you.
I'd entertain a motion.
Smoke
Oh,
one.
no.
You're welcome to do so.
Are you here again?
Unfortunately,
Go, I'm
unfortunately, I
sorry.
may be.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you had him that close.
I'm there.
Doggone it. I'll make this very brief because I know we're trying to match the record. At any rate, this is like part two of the prior discussion regarding alcohol, and it's related again to the Get Fit Guthrie program. What we're trying to do with this, and again, it goes back to obtaining the grant, is to make sure that whenever the city is sponsoring an event, that we do not have advertising related with the event that is in any way focusing on alcohol, or focusing rather on tobacco, supporting the sale of tobacco, or in any way includes any kind of tobacco. Very simple.
Staff recommends approval.
Smoke them if you got them. Just teasing.
No. Close, but no cigar. Oh,
Someday you'll read something.
I'll accept the motion.
Second.
Who's giving me the motion? You.
It's up in smoke.
there we go.
And a second. Cast your votes.
Thank you all.
Mayor, all the votes are in.
Yes, ma'am. Show us how we felt. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, council. City manager's report.
I love spending time with you guys, and I want to especially thank Courtney for her dedication to Get Fit Guthrie. As you see, two of the items are those. We always support the idea of getting those grant monies. We appreciate that. Another special thanks, Parks Advisory, and all of our waterfowl hunters that have helped us come up with these rules. We really do appreciate it, and we thoroughly enjoy the public input process. And always special thanks to staff for doing that pretty quickly. We did very well at that. No more to report?
Way to go.
You're
Matt
welcome.
never could do that thing quick, could he? Matt would wool us to death over
I can keep going.
Okay. Sherry Mueller. Oh, she's not here.
She's
real quick.
Pat.
I'd just like to tell the citizens tonight, in the newspaper, there was a nice article written up about the Pollard Theater, the Territorial Carol play. That was an outstanding write-up. And if you can buy tickets to go to the play, don't miss it, because it's probably one of the best plays that you could take your family to and enjoy. And support the Pollard all you can. The special thing that they have, what was that called, Trey? The backstage? Backstage. You want to be sure and join that group, because they have a special deal that they do for people that join that. And we want to support the Pollard. We want the Pollard to be in Guthrie, America. So be sure and get your tickets for the Territorial Christmas. And the biggest thing right now that's on my agenda, the St. Mary's Catholic Daughters at St. Mary's Church, which I'm vice regent, we're having our 4th annual pie and chili cook-off on January 9th, and our police chief is here tonight. I invited the policemen and Damon to bring their best chili that they could possibly make, and they're very famous for it, by the way, the police department is. So they're going to be in there along with Jim Bowman's Sheriff Department, and guess who's going to be our celebrity judge? Brian Berline himself and the band, and they're going to play music that night, guys. It's going to be the hottest deal in town. The tickets are only going to be $5. Trey has some, I have some. Kids under 10 are going to be free, so mom and dad, grab the kids and come on. And it'll be in the basement at St. Mary's Catholic Church. It's our 4th annual pie and chili cook-off, and this time we're going to have some real down-home fun. And of course, the mayor will be there with his special chili, I'm sure, because I understand the mayor makes great chili.
It's just a little hotter than the police department.
So we'll have some great chili to eat, some great homemade pies, and I hope the town will turn out for this and really have a great time with the Brian Berline Band. Thank you.
Good job. And I will have buttermilk for anybody wanting cornbread and buttermilk. So,
Oh, yeah, cornbread will be there also.
yeah, stand up to it. Vice Mayor.
Well, speaking of the chili cook-off, y'all ought to go. It'll be a real gas. Couldn't resist.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
No, I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
All right, Brother Z.
I'm just looking forward to all the stuff that's happening, and Mary's going to tell us about it. I know we got Territorial Walk and home tours and you name it. Go ahead, Mary. Name
All
it.
right, Mary, before
My thunder.
I hate it when when he does that. Mary, before you say anything, we're not gonna allow you to say anything.
Okay.
No. You know, Mary, we had the General Daniels. This community, maybe this council, doesn't know how much energy you put in to stand up for that. You and your sister made how many rolls?
950.
150 rolls.
900.
900.
Huh?
900.
950.
Yes.
It's like 150 plus.
Too many sirens, too long, I can't hear. But anyway, and Mary was the flight director when we brought food out. She told us who needed food.
It's a lot of fun.
The lights you see out there, Mary probably touched them to make our town a brighter deal. And I certainly, as mayor, don't take enough time to tell you what a great job you do for this community. And I'm amiss to let that happen. So
Thank
you're
you
my
so
hero,
much.
sis.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right.
Well, I love what I do. I have a good time, so I enjoy it. Well, we have a great weekend coming up. I think we're going to have a lot of people in town. We've got a lot of publicity over the radio and over the television channels, TV channels. We do have Channel 9 coming in next week on the 14th, and they're coming in to do a variety of things. So we should see a pretty big impact on the 15th, but we've gone out and done media blitzes and road shows to really talk about Guthrie and what we're doing all month long. The homes tour, as Z spoke about, that's going to be Saturday from 10 to 4. You can get the tickets at the chamber office. The Victorian Walk will be from 5 to 8, and that's all throughout the downtown. There'll be live windows. We will have the Sweet Adelines, which is Oklahoma Chorus. They will be at 111 East Oklahoma doing a free performance at 7 o'clock. And we'll have different choirs. The high school choir will go in after that. And there'll be a lot of entertainment and singing down there besides everything else that will be on the streets. There'll be peanut vendors and a lot of entertainment around town. Byron Berline has a show, and the Pollard Theater has a show all week. And then the Candlelight Trolley Tours, they will continue on till the rest of the month. They're every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 2nd and Harrison Street at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. And that's going to go on for the whole month. So hope everybody has a chance. We invite all the citizens to come out and participate with us. If you've got a choir, you want to bring the choir down and just walk around and sing Christmas carols. We encourage that everybody do that and dress up in your Victorian wear. So hope everybody has a good time, and hope the town does well as far as business goes.
I think it will. Usually does. If this weather holds, they sure come.
Yes, yep, absolutely.
All right. Doctor.
I don't have much. Just go Blue Jays tonight in wrestling. I know that's what Mayor Chuck's thinking about right now.
I'm getting ready to bail. I'm trying to get there. Thank you. Thank you. Want to wish everybody Merry Christmas. We're going to have one more chance to do that, but I might forget next 2 weeks from now. So everybody Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Want to thank all the city employees for the tremendous job they've done over this last year to make this a better, greater community. Fire and police always stand up for the things that we're proud of, and we appreciate you guys very much. No council meeting January the 1st.
What?
No. Let me say that again. No council meeting January the 1st. So you can come up and stand inside the foyer, but there will be no meeting, okay? We appreciate you guys. The Blue Jays are on the wrestling mat as we speak, and this mayor needs to be there. So thank you guys. What? Adjourn. Let's hit the bricks.